So Sparky used to be called Jonah. That is not factually 100% correct, but I discovered this show called Family Dog purely by chance. Long story short, I was looking at 90s toys on eBay because I like nostalgia and it makes me happy, and I came across this plush of a dog that I thought looked like a really poor version of Sparky from Frankenweenie, Tim Burton's Frankenweenie. And it turns out that it was actually the dog called Jonah from Family Dog, which started off as a one-off episode of Amazing Stories in 1987, and this later turned into a, I think, 10-part cartoon series in 1993. And obviously this dog was drawn by Tim Burton, and the show itself was produced by Tim Burton Productions, as well as Warner Brothers and Amblin and a couple of others, with music by Danny Elfman. And I thought, well, I don't know why I haven't heard of this. I don't know why I've never come across this Tim Burton dog. Obviously, it's not canon Tim Burton, by which I mean there are theories that suggest Scraps, Sparky, and Zero are all different variations of the same dog. This is not canon. Jonah does not fit into that. But I was quite keen to check this out and see what it was actually like, and just to see Tim Burton's animation style in a different way. And it is interesting. I only watched the short and then one episode of the cartoon series. I'm not going to watch it all. I didn't find it that engaging, and I will explain why. But I will say this affected me instantly. I watched this, let's say, 7, 8 o'clock in the evening. I can't remember exactly. And then that night, I dreamt about the dog. I dreamt about Jonah. Absolutely insane how quickly that infiltrated my thoughts. All of that waffling aside, the cartoons follow the Binsford family. So we have the father, the mother, the son, and the daughter. Pretty traditional 4-piece family setup, with the family dog, the bull terrier, called Jonah, who was voiced by Brad Bird in the short and Danny Mann in the TV series. And we follow this family, but through the dog's eyes. Well, not literally through the dog's eyes, but we are always looking at the dog. He has to be in the room for us to see what the family is doing. And one of my favourite bits is when he's waiting for food and the mother puts the can of dog food upside down and just waits for it to slosh out. I just found that really amusing for some reason. But there's a lot of attention to detail in both the short and the series, where just little things like that feel really realistic, and the sound effects I really thought were great. Again, across the board, all of my thoughts are they're all applicable to both of them. The animation quality in the series is slightly sharper, but ultimately I feel like the 1993 series is just an extension of the 1987 short. Maybe if I watched the whole series I'd feel differently, but just based on the first episode, they are very similar in style, of course. And Jonah as a dog is a very similar creature. It is an interesting concept of, observing a family, but through the dog's perspective and the way that he sees things. They do seem to take the dog with them to a lot of places. Obviously, if they didn't, it would be quite a boring thing where it was all just set in the house or at the park. Yeah, I didn't watch the full series, as I said, because the actual actions on screen, the narrative, none of it really captivated me. I didn't think it was that good. I also have to point out that I'm not the biggest fan of animated sitcom styles. I don't like things like Family Guy. I've never seen American Dad, but I'm sure I wouldn't like it. Rick and Morty, all of it. I don't really engage with those. The Simpsons is probably the only exception I can think of. So it's not really for me. I will be perfectly honest with that. But I still don't think that the actual action on screen was that interesting or exciting. For the short, yes, it was fresh, it was different. But, by the time I'd watched, an hour of this, I just thought, I like the animation style. I like the concept. But the execution isn't very captivating. Although Martin Mull does voice the father in the TV series, in the 1993 series. So that I found really exciting. I was very pleased with that. So, would I recommend it? I mean, I wouldn't recommend it if you've never seen it and don't want that nostalgia, or if you've maybe seen the series and weren't aware of the short, or vice versa, I'd recommend the opposite. But unless you have a pull factor, for example, me with Tim Burton, or if there's a particular voice actor you like, I wouldn't say it's something that you should rush to watch. It is on YouTube. Whether or not it should be is not for me to say. I didn't think it was amazing. I thought the short was a fun concept and quite unique. I don't know who, what, why, when, or how it was commissioned for a full series. I wouldn't have thought it would have been just based on the short, but it's still got its positives. Also, music by Daddy Elfman, obviously that's going to be a pull factor as well. Did I enjoy it? I enjoyed it because I'm a Tim Burton fan, addict, whatever. Beyond that, also it's co-executive produced by Spielberg and Burton, which is pretty great in itself. But beyond that, I didn't think it was anything tremendous. Jonah is very cute. As a precursor to the animation for Sparky, it's very adorable. Although his nose does seem to float quite a lot, which is a bit odd. Ultimately, glad I've seen it. I recommend it to some people depending on what you're looking for. I probably won't ever watch the full series.